Into hour number 2, and I hate to say, see, we told you so. It's really horrible news. The downgrading has begun. They're blaming the Tea Party, not the bankers, not the derivatives. The whole SEAL Team 6 situation, very, very suspicious. I got a lot of other news. Government drug dealing we're going to be getting into. It's not fun to have to expose these people. Hopefully my public position will protect me and your prayers will, but somebody's got to stand up against these people because they're stealing the pension funds, they're imploding the country, total criminals are running things, and people have got to stop being naive if we're going to reverse any of this. Ben in Tennessee, you're on the air. Welcome. Thanks for holding.
Hey, Alex. Thanks for taking my call, and thanks for all the great work you're continually doing. I wanted to get to just the point you just made about this morning on the Sunday talk shows, political talk shows. I noticed a thread, a common thread running through them, especially on ABC and NBC. Of course, we know NBC owned by General Electric. One, you had Alan Greenspan on NBC saying, "No, we're not going to have a double-dip recession. No, that's just not likely." And on the opposite side of the table, you had Rachel Maddow just completely demonizing the Tea Party and saying that S&P had no credibility whatsoever. And then on ABC, you had Steve Ratner, the architect of the auto industry bailout, who is on record calling any Tea Party member, anybody who doesn't agree with the bailouts, terrorists. And I noticed that as a common thread running through the Sunday morning talking points.
No. You know, I've got the stack. I'm glad. Absolutely, that's what I saw. And that's what they're doing. They're saying it's not the derivatives. It's not the 6 mega banks. It's not the big government. It's the people who don't like big government. Now that we're going into the Depression publicly, it's all our fault. They were driving the train over the cliff. We tried to apply the brakes. They wouldn't let us. And now as we go off the cliff, they're looking at us saying, you did this.
Exactly, and for Alan Greenspan to even be allowed to come on these shows, or for people to even think that he has an ounce of credibility left after allowing the derivatives to just go into hyperspeed.
Well, that's right. For those that don't know, just to fill in what you're saying, Ben, it was on his watch in 98, 99. They got rid of all the rules and let an inner group of mega banks just create infinity of currency and instruments that we have to back up. And now that we've backed them up, now it's our fault. And I guess in a way it is our fault for letting these criminals do this to us.
Well, I agree with you. And in closing, I just want to encourage people to, keep supporting what you're doing. It's such essential work. So thank you again, and God bless.
Well, Ben, I appreciate your call. We're going to go to break and come back to Jason, Linda, Ryan, Salvatore, Tariq, Roland, Scott, George, Dana, Vincent, and others. And the toll-free number to join us, of course. We get so many calls. I hear national shows begging for calls. Our audience is so big and so great. We have a computerized phone system on the weekend show. The Genesis only has like an old-fashioned 6-line system. But we do it out of our own studio. We can open the phone line up for about a minute, sometimes just like 10 seconds. I'll give the number out, and they'll open it. And like 30 phone calls will just shoot in. And if they leave it open, hundreds go on the board. But then that'll bankrupt me because I got to pay for all those toll-free calls. And they can sure add up when I sit here with a big blowhard talking forever. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. There are so many good people in this country and worldwide. There are so many inventions and ingenuity and so many good people in government, out of government, so many good police officers, so many good military people. So many good talk show hosts. But we don't run things. The evil corrupt do. And we better get the controls back away from them, or we don't have any hope. And I got to tell you, I'm really creeped out right now. I got a lot of anxiety. I've been telling you the last few months I've been having it. I'm having a lot of anxiety. I think some really bad stuff's about to happen. We'll be right back. This country has a lot of great people in it. And we can turn things around. But we're going to have to stop being so naive and admit that corrupt elements have taken over almost every major position of power and that it's become systemic. and that the sky is the limit if we don't get involved. I mean, everywhere I go, I'd say half the people I walk by on the street or at a business or at the grocery store stop and talk to me and are listeners. Great people. I mean, I went to a restaurant today with my parents and probably had, just while I was walking around in the place, 10 people come up to me. The waiter was a listener. But they all say, great job, we're glad you're there doing what you're doing. Like I'm going to be able to fix things. All I can do is go, hey, you know, here's 20 news articles that aren't getting national attention where the government's caught shipping guns into Mexico and cocaine in, and they're not even getting in trouble. All I can do is say we're not in Kansas anymore. All right, I'm going to go to your phone calls. It's just that we really do have a case of tyranny. We have cancer politically. And it's not going to go away when Obama leaves office, just like it didn't go away when Bush left office. The political ruling class, I have these idiots email me and they say, I like Democrats. The economy was roaring under Bill Clinton. Of course it was. They were, you know, a fish when it bites onto a hook with a worm on it for about a split second thinks the worm tastes good. And the way economies and societies go, 4 or 5 years is a millisecond. They were hyperinflating the currency. They were creating thousands of trillions of financial instruments and flooding the markets with it. Of course there was a bubble. And now Alan Greenspan and others are parading around on TV, and the White House is blaming people that want to be fiscally responsible for the fact that we've lost our AAA rating. We lost our AAA rating a long time ago. We've been positioned into economic collapse, and I'm going to be breaking that down after we go to your calls. But right now, Jason in Connecticut. You're on the air, Jason. Go ahead.
Alex, man, I'll tell you, my family came here in 1895, and this is not the America that they dreamt of. And no disrespect to America, we're in a bad time right now. But a quick comment about SEAL Team 6. The comment was, do you think that this is a typical Goodfellas, Godfather type hit where they got to shut everybody up so the truth doesn't come out?
We don't know. We know that witnesses all over that populated area, and I have the newscast posted on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com, reported that the people got on the helicopter and it blew up. And then my military sources said, indeed, SEALs did die back in May, or even before that. When was the bin Laden raid? Time gets scrambled, folks. Pull up the date for me. Yeah, it was May 1st, so I was right, May Day. Yeah, it was May 1st. I always just double-check my memory. Yeah, it was May 1st, May Day. I mean, what a globalist message that was. We don't know. We know that story was a lie, that bin Laden didn't do the things they said, that there wasn't human shields, that, you know, throwing him in the ocean, give me a break, fake situation room photos of the president looking tough. All of that was a lie. Our government sources say it's a lie, and that SEALs did die. And so how will they cover up that SEALs died? They'll wait a few months, tell their family they're out of contact, you know, they're SEALs. Then there's another helicopter crash, and then you just tag their names onto it. That's the most likely, because we know that SEALs died in the bin Laden raid from our sources that have proven very accurate. And plus, we have the helicopter crashing there. It's not just like our sources are saying that. So I don't know. Or were they knocking out, you know, the rest of SEAL Team 6 because they were speaking out, like Pat Tillman, like Jessica Lynch's team, who said she was hiding in fear. This isn't true. And they went and killed them. And then she came out and said, it's all fake. I was told to lie by the Pentagon. They really kill people in these PR things. If it's a PR event for their agenda, they will kill anybody involved if they get in the way of it. Pat Tillman didn't want to be their PR guy anymore. They murdered him. You know, Jessica Lynch's team. And I went on air and I said, Jessica Lynch, you better come out and admit this was fake, or they're going to kill you and say the hero died in a car wreck. And she came out 2 days later. I guess somebody else must have warned her. I don't know. And said, it's all fake. They told me to do it. The book, all of it's fake. It's all fake. I mean, they don't play games. Jason, I appreciate your call. Because it's not our government. Okay, it's foreign banking interests run our military. They run the greatest military on the earth. They run our checkbook, and they've run it into the ground. Okay, and they're not going to stop. We've got to get these foreign banks out of here, or there's no future. I got stacks of news here. We're in federal court. It's coming out that the ATF, FBI, and DEA are knowingly shipping guns to Mexican drug gangs and gangs in the U.S. to knock out their competition. That the federal government has been caught again shipping, in the last 5 years, tons of cocaine in through one cartel, and no one gets in trouble. And then meanwhile, we're worried about how I talk. Oh, okay. Let's get back into the credit rating situation. Let's go to a bunch of your calls. I'm trying here. Ryan in Tennessee, then Salvatore and others. Ryan, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hey, Alex. Thank you for all that you do. I'm thankful that I heard about you through conspiracy theory. My family's now awake, and I don't want to get off point. I want to say everything that you said about corporations running our country now. I recently had a new truck that at 65 miles an hour, it shifted into first gear, and my daughter and I flipped off the interstate, and Ford told me they were sorry for the inconvenience, but I don't want to get off the point, but it just goes to the American people have lost their voice. No one listens to us, and it doesn't matter what big corporations do. They just keep right on trucking. And
they're emboldened. That's what the New World Order is, a global private government where they control the governments and take our wealth away through socialism. But then they're offshore. It's fascism sitting on top of socialism. And that's what the social engineers don't teach in schools. But when you get into real government policy books, they admit that's the global system. But they don't teach that. They say you can have right-wing fascism or left-wing communism. Those are your choices when the two go together.
Well, and like I said, you've been right on with everything. My 70-year-old parents listen to you, and it's because of listening to you that my entire family got out of the stock market in less than a month ago. And had we not have, I believe that we would have lost everything.
Well, sir, again, I don't really give advice on the stock market per se, but we have been saying that the collapse would become more evident, and that as soon as they did the debt increase, that they would start imploding things, because it wasn't really a debt increase. It was a change in law to allow the insiders at the Super Congress to completely and totally take over the Congress. I mean, folks, think about it. A Super Congress originates the laws now on taxes and spending. I mean, that is incredible. Bills don't come out of the lower house now. The spending bills are supposed to come from individual House members. And if the House doesn't vote the way they want, then it just goes through anyways. I mean, this is mind-blowing, and this is what's incredible. They're just getting started. If you think it's crazy that Obama launched a war and Congress said, we've got to give you authority, and he said, fly a kite, imagine what's coming next, Ryan.
Well, and that was my whole point. Listening to you, no, you weren't giving advice, but everything you said, you could see the writing on the wall. You would say it within a week later, it was happening, whether the market, in the news, and I absolutely believe that.
And that's what's frustrating, Ryan, is that I'm not that smart. This is a globalist program. They admit what they're doing. All I'm doing is saying, hey, next, they're going to do this because that's their program. I appreciate your call.